What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic podcast. Quick fix 29, finding inner peace. This is something that everybody wants. In today's episode, at the end of this 10-minute episode, you will have found inner peace. Definitely not
Yeah.
guaranteed. I'm,
Nope.
I'm Randy. I'm here with my buddy Danny. And in these quick fix episodes, we just go over a few short topics that we each come up with for finding inner peace, which is today's subject. So I'm starting today. Number one for me is for finding inner peace, which is something that everybody wants. Number
We
one,
hope.
we hope, yeah, is let go of wanting inner peace.
Oh,
And this
way to
is,
go, Zen.
I know, right? This is like the kind of the next level stuff because we always get in this habit of wanting things. And then when we get the things we want, there's this big release. Like we think the actual getting of the things that we want is the goal, but actually when we get what we want, we just stop wanting it. So it's kind of like, is the getting what we want the thing that we want, or is it actually just the stopping wanting it, because then there's not that craving anymore. So letting go of the wanting of inner peace, because another word even for wanting is lacking. Like when
Yeah.
you say that something is wanting, it means it's lacking it. So anytime you're wanting something subconsciously or whatever, you feel like you're lacking. So letting go of that lack will actually allow inner peace. Not only that, but like you're clinging to it by wanting it. So as soon as you stop clinging, then it can just come to you naturally.
I like that too because the letting go is recognizing that you're already full, that you don't
Totally.
need to add anything to you, right? That you don't need these desires are something that aren't going to make things better. They're not going to make you better, right?
But
Not in
what
the
about the
sense that it's going to
car
give you
and the
inner peace.
money and the bling? Don't I need that?
I mean, hey, if you think you do, you keep chasing after it. But I think at the end of the day, you bring your same crappy person with you. So
Mm-hmm.
the
And
Porsche
I
is going
think
to carry the same person around. But I think you can find inner peace and have those things too. I think there is that it is possible to have both. I don't think you have to they're necessarily negate each other
yeah.
either.
Yeah, I think it's important to go and get everything you want, but then also realize that it's not that stuff that you want.
No,
Yeah.
that's just
So that's
stuff. Yeah, it's the
so my
problem.
number one was let go of wanting inner peace. In order to find
I
inner
like
peace,
that.
let go of wanting inner peace.
I like that. My number one is actually a meditation, but kind of a directed meditation, which I know they say not to do. But I think we talked about this in the last full length episode a little bit.
Are
But
these people who say not to do it? They got the owner's manual to life, so they no, they got the
yeah, right.
instruction
Those
manual.
jerk offs, they think they got the little booklet, they know what to
Yeah.
do. Nah, screw them. Yeah, so I think though, I think honestly, I think when you meditate, just listening to your breathing, letting thoughts come, but really taking the time afterwards to reflect on which thoughts arose and why is so helpful to start to work through some of the shit that you're dealing with. And I think it can really I think the Buddhists call it like untying the psychic knots, working through those mental sort of problems, those knots that you've created in your psyche, and really being able to sort of be at peace with yourself. Because I think that's crucial to getting there. That's my
I,
number one is
I really
meditate.
I really
Yeah.
like that, and I actually wanted to ask you about that. How do you remember the things that came up when you're meditating?
Uh, yeah, it's interesting. So you're not clinging to thoughts, right? So they're coming and going. So the way I always do it is usually when it works for me is that I don't remember everything, obviously. Sometimes a lot of things fly through my head in that 10 minutes. But usually what I find and what most people I think do find is that there's a few things that they will remember that come up again and again. And those are usually the problem things or the things that are really bothering you. And you work through those. And as you work through those, you'll find other ones coming up and you work. And the idea is just keep doing it until you get to this point where you've gotten rid of all that. And
Yeah.
actually, it works really well. Sometimes, I remember a couple things, like two, sometimes it's 20. I mean, it just depends on the day and, what comes up.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So my next one is for finding inner peace. Start with this moment. Okay.
Like
I
that.
think I think I've been guilty of this, and I think a lot of people want eternal peace forever and ever and ever. They want this eternal bliss state. And while that may happen, really an eternal bliss state is just a whole bunch of this moments right after each other.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned in previous episodes how I do this thing where I pass this waterfall feature. And so every day I just toss my worries into that waterfall and then just
Oh, I
allow
love that.
myself to
Yeah.
be peaceful. And it's like, it's very clearly experienced peace every day. because I just let go of all my worries and allow myself to be peaceful. And it's just focusing on this moment and not worrying if, the moment later is not there. I get peace for this moment. And the more times I can connect those moments, the closer I'll get to just having eternal peace.
You know what I like that you said about that? I'm going to change my second one now before I even say it. I think, for my second one, I'm going to go with slowing down and imagining, because I think we forget the role that our imagination plays in really our mental state. Like you said, walking by a fountain and imagining that you're throwing your worries in there, your stresses in there, right? I think when we're meditating and we're imagining that we're breathing in the good and letting go of the bad, exercising our imagination, it's a powerful tool. And I think doing that can really help us find inner peace, because it can be a way to really like recognize a state or realize a mental state now and try it in the moment and try it out and gives ourselves a chance. I think that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And your imagination, I mean, they've taken looks at these things, how your body experiences the same reactions when you experience something mentally in your imagination as when you experience it physically.
Yeah.
So
Oh
like
yeah, it's insane.
you can derive the same benefits. And it's almost like you knew my number 3, which is
Oh,
remind yourself regularly of beauty. And
oh,
so
I like that.
so this is something that we've talked about with the small delights, but it's also something that I heard in one of the many books where like you're trying to put more good stuff into your mind, because like the bad stuff is just going to go in there on its own. So your active goal should be piling as much good stuff in there as you can. And so like this is something that you can do while you're waiting in traffic or waiting in a line or bored at work, or like all these downtime moments when like maybe you can't be reading a book or watching something on Netflix, but you're just there and it's kind of like dead time. You can start actively putting in those moments of beauty. So like things that I'll do is I'll like remember moments with my grandmother, or remember really beautiful scenes that I've had or experiences that I've had, and just like actively reliving these, because it goes back to what you were just saying, using your imagination. Your body
Yeah.
experiences that stuff. Like every time I think about these times with my grandmother, like I feel that love in my presence. And so it's using that to really find the inner peace that you're looking for.
I really like that too, because you're going back to old moments that you had that were good, and you're sort of training yourself to understand that, realize it, and recognize that it's there in the world. Because I think we all forget that. So it's an awesome one. It actually goes with my last one nicely too, which is be alone. Take time to be alone. I think that is crucial. If you want inner peace, you have to be comfortable by yourself, and you have to take time to yourself to do the things we're talking about. And I think setting aside time to do these things, to literally be by yourself, to reflect, to use your imagination, to meditate, to do all this stuff is necessary. And you'll get there when you do that. Setting aside even 10 minutes a day makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I mean, that's a great point, being alone, because you look at all these enlightened people and they all had times when they spent it alone, because really enlightenment comes down to something between you and you. So it's like,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is.
Yeah.
Inner peace is about you and you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's great. That's our
Like that.
episode. Quick little fix on finding inner peace. Like I said, 99.9% guaranteed, you're all going to be totally enlightened now. All found
Yeah,
inner peace.
absolutely.
Thank you for
Always.
listening to the Existential Stoic podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, tell all your friends about it, and make sure they listen as well. I'm Randy. That's my buddy Danny. I'll see you later, Danny.
Later, Andy.